welcome to my channel. My name is Avalon and today I have something really fun in store for you. We are going to be doing, I'm looking over here because I keep looking at it, but we are going to be doing a tutorial. So it's a nice like small pillow size and I just love it. It's so cute. I have another one right here, but this one is red. My tension was a little bit tighter on this one, so you'll notice he's a little bit smaller. But look at them. They're so cute. I will let you know though that this tutorial is for a jumbo 7-weight yarn, and that is important for it to get this like jumbo size. So if you use like a size 6 yarn, like a super bulky, it's just not going to be as big. It'll still make a strawberry, but you're just not going to have as big of a strawberry. I will in the future be coming out with a PDF pattern for a bigger strawberry, but that is only going to be in PDF form. I'm not going to be making a video for it, but I cannot wait to see all of your guys' strawberries. I think they're going to be so cute. And if you do prefer for a written version, I have a free version on my Instagram for this. It's the exact same pattern and everything. You can go ahead and make it over there just by heading over to my Instagram at Avalon Crochets, and you can make your own one if you prefer written. But if you're here for the video tutorial, welcome. We're about to begin, and I can't wait to make this little strawberry pillow with you. Without further ado, honestly, let's just go ahead and get started. All right, hi guys. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump in. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the abbreviations that we're going to be using. These are in US terminology. So the stitches you are going to need to know in order to make the strawberry are chain stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, slip stitch, increase, and invisible decrease. You'll also need to know how to crochet into front loops only and back loops only. Now let's go over some of the materials that you'll need in order to make your strawberry. The first one will be a 9mm crochet hook, or at least that's the size that I'm going to use for this. But you can use whatever size works best for you. With our size 7 jumbo yarn, I just prefer to use a 9mm hook. But you could also use an 8 or 7 if you prefer those millimeters. You just want to make sure there's no gapping in your strawberry. The next thing you'll need is polyfill. You'll need a lot more than this. Darning needle, some scissors, and a stitch marker. So depending on the color strawberry you want to make, I'm making a pink strawberry with you guys today. And this yarn is Premier Parfait XL, which is a size 7 jumbo weight. I recommend this size to really give your strawberry a jumbo like size. So it's really pillow sized. For your berry color, you're going to want quite a bit of yarn. So for the berry, I usually need around 90-95 yards just for the berry. So we'll use up probably all, if not most of the skein for our berry. So make sure you have either 2 skeins or maybe you have a like longer skein. You'll also need some green yarn. This is also Parfait XL by Premier. As you can see, I've already used some of it. I'm usually able to make about 4 stems from 1 skein, so it doesn't usually take too much yarn to make the stem part of your berry. As long as you have 1 skein, you should have enough. And then choose your color that you would like for the seeds. For me, I'm going to use this pretty red color. It's actually burgundy is the name of the color. So we're gonna use this as our seed color today. And all of these yarns are Premier Parfait XL yarn. Just to note, if you do decide to size down your yarn or hook, your strawberry will come out a bit smaller. If you're okay with that, then go ahead and do it. Small strawberries are just as cute as bigger strawberries. This pattern is worked in continuous rounds, use a stitch marker at the beginning of each round. And honestly, I think we're ready to begin. So we're gonna start with making our berry. So grab the color that you would like to use for your berry. I'm using pink for this tutorial, but you can use red or honestly whatever color you like best. So when using this big chunky yarn, I always have trouble making a magic loop. So I'm just gonna show you this real quick because it helped me a lot. But what I like to do is start with a slip knot. And how you do that is you are going to grab this end right here and you're gonna make a letter P like that. And then you're going to grab this end right here and you're gonna flip it over on top of your yarn. And then grab this right here and pull on both ends like this. And now you have a slip knot. So when you put your hook inside this hole, you can just pull on this side of the yarn and it'll cinch around your hook. So what we're doing right now is we're doing the chain 2 method instead of a magic loop. And it's just because it's a lot easier than trying to close a magic loop with this really thick yarn. So now what we do is we chain 2. 1 and 2. And then for round 1, we're going to be doing 6 single crochet into this first chain that we made. So go right in there and we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is the end of round 1. So now let's continue on to round 2. And we're going to be doing 6 increases for a total of 12 stitches. 1. There's 1 increase. Now go ahead and grab your stitch marker and make sure you put it into the first stitch of this round, the first one. It was an increase, so it's this one right here. So now I'm going to continue doing increases all the way around. Increase, 2, increase, that's 3. Increase, and that is 6 increases for a total of 12 stitches. So now we are done with round 2. So we're going to continue on to round 3 and we're going to do single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, put your stitch marker in, 3, 4, 12. So this is what your strawberry will look like after 3 rounds. You can already begin to see it taking shape. This is the very end of the strawberry, the part that wouldn't be next to the stem. So this is the end of round 3. You should have 12 stitches going all the way around. Now it is time for round 4. So we are going to be doing 1 single crochet followed by an increase 6 times. And this will be for a total of 18 stitches. 1, and then we're going to do increase. So make sure to put your stitch marker back in. 1, increase, 1 and increase. And now we're at the end of round 4. So for round 5, we're going to be single crocheting all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 18. All right, now we're done with round 5. So now for round 6, we are going to be doing 1 increase followed by 2 single crochets. So increase into this first stitch, putting our stitch marker in, and then 2 single crochet, so 1 and 2, increase, and 1 and 2. And there we go. Now we're at the end of round 6. You should have 24 stitches going all the way around. And now we are going to go on to round 7, which is single crocheting all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. So 1 and 2. Put my stitch marker back in. There we go. This is the end of round 7. So now we're going to continue on to round 8, and we'll be doing 3 single crochets followed by an increase. And we're going to do that 6 times for a total of 30 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and increase, 1, 2, whoops, there we go, 3, and increase, 'All right, so now that is the end of round 8. For round 9, we will be single crocheting all the way around. And it will be a total of 30 stitches. So 1, 2, there we go, 3, 4, 29 and 30. All right, So this is the end of round 9. So now it's time to go on to round 10. Now this round is the first round that's written a little complicatedly. So the reason I wrote it like I did is I didn't want the increases to be stacked right on top of each other, because sometimes that can make your work a little hexagon shaped. And I wanted our berry to be very round. That's why I wrote it like this. So our increases were kind of like spread out and not stacked on top of each other. Don't be confused, and honestly, if it's easier for you, you can literally just do 4 single crochets followed by an increase 6 times. For this video, I'm going to do it as it is written in the pattern, which is 1 single crochet followed by an increase, and then 4 single crochet followed by an increase 5 times, and then 3 single crochet to finish it off. And this will be for a total of 36 stitches. So it's 1 single crochet and then our increase. There we go. Put my stitch marker in, and now I'm going to do 4 single crochet followed by an increase 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and increase 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. Increase, and then 1, 2, 3, and that finishes off round 10. So like I said, it's exactly the same as 4 single crochet followed by an increase 6 times. So if you prefer to do it that way, you can. This will just give the berry a slightly more round effect. It still looks good if it's slightly hexagon. It's honestly not very noticeable, so do it however you prefer. All right, so now let's go ahead and continue on to round 11, and we are going to be single crocheting all the way around. So 1, 2, and it'll be for a total of 36 stitches. 3, 4, 35, and 36. All right, so now we're at the end of round 11. So now we're gonna go ahead and continue on to round 12. For round 12, we'll be doing 5 single crochet followed by an increase 6 times, and that will be for a total of 42 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, then increase, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and increase. increase. There we go. All right, so now this is the end of round 12. So now we're going to continue on to round 13, and we're going to single crochet all the way around. And it will be 42 stitches. So 1 and 2. 3, 4, 5, 41 and 42. All right, so this is the end of round 13. So now we're going to continue on to round 14. So for round 14, it's similar to round 10 to where it's written out all along, but I wrote it into the pattern so that we wouldn't have our increases on top of each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 single crochet followed by an increase, and then we're going to do 6 single crochet followed by an increase, and we're going to do that 5 times. And then we're going to finish off the round with 4 single crochet for a total of 48 stitches. So let's go ahead and begin round 14. So 1 and 2, and we're going to do increase, okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, increase, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, increase. Increase. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is the end of round 14. So for round 15, what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet all the way around, and it will be a total of 48 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right, and that is 48. So this is the end of round 15. So we're going to continue on to round 16, and we're going to do 7 single crochet followed by an increase 6 times, and that'll be for a total of 54 stitches. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, now increase, And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, increase. Increase, yes, increase, there we go. All right, so this is the end of round 16. So now for rounds 17 and 18, so for 2 rounds, we are going to be single crocheting around. So it'll be 54 stitches each time. So we'll be doing 108 single crochets around, and we'll meet back up for round 19. So let's go ahead and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 53 and 54. So that's the end of round 17. So I'm going around once more for round 18. 1 and 2. All right, so this is the end of round 18. As you can see, our strawberry is surely growing. We're going to go ahead and continue on to round 19, and for round 19, it's written out pretty long too. We are going to be doing 3 single crochet followed by a decrease, and then we're going to do 7 single crochet followed by a decrease 5 times, and then 4 single crochet to finish it off. And that will be for a total of 48 stitches. So now we're at the point where we're beginning to close up our strawberry. So this is very exciting. So let's go ahead and start with what I said. So 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease. All right, and then we're going to do 7 single crochet followed by a decrease 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now decrease. Decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the end of round 19. So now we're gonna go ahead and continue on to round 20. And we'll be doing 6 single crochet followed by a decrease 6 times for a total of 42 stitches. So 1 and 2, and stitch marker, 3, 4, 5, 6, and decrease, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and decrease. Six, and our last decrease. And there you go. This is the end of round 20. Our strawberry is getting much bigger. This is in comparison to my hand. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, since this gap is so big right now, this opening right here, we're gonna go ahead and stuff a little bit inside of here. So I'm gonna let you know right now, you should stuff this little tip right here a bit firmly. I've just noticed after making a few strawberries that a lot of times the stuffing will kind of like move up the strawberry a little bit. I just recommend stuffing it pretty firmly right at this tip. And I'm not gonna stuff it all the way yet. We have time to put more stuffing in a bit, but feel free to put as much stuffing as you would like for right now. I will say when I'm stuffing, but feel free to stuff as much as you'd like at any point in this video, from this point onward. Okay, so now we are on to round 21, and for round 21, we will be doing 2 single crochet followed by a decrease, and then we're gonna do 5 single crochet followed by a decrease 5 times, and then we'll finish it off with 3 single crochet. And that will be for a total of 36 stitches. So let's go ahead and continue on. I'm slowly getting closer to you guys. 1, 2, all right, 1 and 2. And now we're going to do our decrease. And then we're going to do 5 single crochet followed by a decrease 5 times. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and decrease. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and decrease. And decrease. And then 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that is the end of round 21. So let's continue on to round 22, and we'll be doing 4 single crochet followed by a decrease 6 times for a total of 30 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease, and decrease. All right, so now I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to go ahead and stuff our strawberry a little bit more at this point. As this hole gets smaller, it's going to be harder and harder to stuff. So I think now is a good time to stuff it a bit. Okay, I think this is good for now, and then I'm going to stuff it some more in the future. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on to round 23. So for round 23, we're going to be doing 1 single crochet followed by a decrease, and then we're going to do 3 single crochet followed by a decrease 5 times. And we'll finish it with 2 single crochet. And that'll be for a total of 24 stitches. So let's continue. And now I keep getting closer and closer to you guys. So 1, and then decrease. Yeah. And then 3 single crochet followed by a decrease 5 times. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. 1 and 2. All right, so that is the end of round 23. So now we're going to go ahead and stuff some more stuffing. I would recommend stuffing after each round. At this point, we want to make sure our strawberry is nice and stuffed. So let's go ahead and continue on to round 24. We're going to be doing 2 single crochet followed by a decrease, and we're going to do that 6 times for a total of 18 stitches. So 1 and 2. Put your stitch marker in, and decrease 1 and 2, and decrease, oops, 1 and 2, decrease, decrease. There we go. Perfect. So this is what I mean, our strawberry hole. This hole is getting pretty small now. So for round 25, we're going to be doing 1 decrease followed by a single crochet 6 times for a total of 12 stitches. So decrease, and 1. Decrease and 1. Decrease and 1. Decrease 1. Decrease 1. Decrease 1. And there we go. So this is the absolute last chance for you to stuff. So if you want to get any more stuffing in there, now is your chance. So I think I'm happy with my amount of stuffing. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to do our last round. And this is round 26. And we're going to be doing 6 decreases all the way around. So you should have a total of 6 stitches when you're done with this round. So decrease. And decrease. So that is 2 decreases. Now 3 decreases. 4. 5. And wow, this is getting a little tight. And 6. All right, that is it. That's it. Your strawberry is now almost closed. So now what you'll need is a little yarn tail. I'm gonna do it about, I don't know, what is this? Like 6 to 8 inches. I think that's good. It doesn't need to be super long, but we do have to sew closed our hole. We don't want to leave this hole right here. So take out the stitch marker. How I close my amigurumi is I like to go through the front loops right here, but I like to go through 2 of them at a time. I don't know, I recently learned this technique and it's just so much faster because I used to go through 1 front loop at a time. But now what I do is I go through this 2 at a time like that. So these are the loops that are closest to you. So 2, and there was only 6 stitches, so we're going through 3 and 4 now. And so there's only 2 left, 5 and 6. And you just pull that nice and cinched so your strawberry is closed. And then I like to put my needle right through the center and just sew back and forth a little bit. And this is really gonna make sure that your strawberry isn't gonna open up. But honestly, when we sew on the stem, there's like, I don't think there's any way this strawberry is opening up because the stem is gonna be right over this part. So, and then I'm just gonna, pull out our yarn tail. Oops, oh my gosh. It's a little hard to get. There we go. Just pull out the yarn tail. And I like to like pull this up with my needle and then smooth it out. And there we go. This is the berry part. This is the biggest part of the strawberry. So we are going to embroider our strawberry. Now grab your seed color of choice. I'm going to be using this red or burgundy color for the seeds. I just think it'll look very cute, especially because I want to make my seeds look like little hearts. I think that that'll just be adorable. So, and I'll show you how I do that. So what I do is I kind of go into a random stitch. Doesn't really matter where. And you can embroider as many hearts as you would like, or seeds, whatever you like. So this is just like an end. Don't even worry about that. And so one up from this one, we're not gonna go into that one. Instead, we're gonna go into these two openings right here. I'm just gonna go into this right one first and then come through the left. And I don't pull it all the way tight because then it'll look like that. You just can't see it as well. I like to leave it a little bit loose. And then I go back into this hole that we came in through. And then I kind of pick where I want to go onto my strawberry next. So let's see, I'll go maybe right down here. Come on, come on, there we go. And then I'm just gonna pull this through. And then I kind of go like that a little bit. I just like the way that looks. All right, and then basically you just do that a few more times. I'll do it once more with you though. So not going into this opening right above where we went in, we're gonna go into either side. So I like to start in this one right here and come through the other one over here, this other opening, and then pull it until you like how it's sitting, and then go into this bottom piece right here. And when you go into this bottom piece, kind of decide where you want to go next. I'm gonna go up this way now, like that, and then I'm gonna pull. Here we go. And sometimes the stuffing kind of comes out with it. I usually clean this up at the end, but I'll just pull these little loose pieces of stuffing off. But yeah, that's how I embroider my strawberry. I'm not going to show you all of it because it is a little time consuming. Oh yeah, and one final tip for when you're embroidering your strawberry is I usually don't go above round 18. So I don't like embroider all the way up to this tip top because we're not even gonna see it because the stem is gonna go right here when we're done making it. So I just count up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I don't go above this round. I'm gonna go ahead and just make a little seed up there so I can remember that I don't want to go much higher than that. So about right here. It's okay if you do, it's just your seeds might not get completely seen, you know? So I just like to mention, I just wanted to mention that. So this is the last seed I want to add. So I'm just going to find my other yarn tail and I'm going to push my needle. Oh gosh, almost lost it. There we go. There we go. Okay. Have them meet up in the same opening. And tie our two tails together. Okay, so I think I forgot to mention this, so I'll put a note into the video. Make sure you leave out this little yarn tail for later. The one that we used to sew closed our berry. We will be using it in the future. But for now, we have a berry done, and it is time to go ahead and make our stem finally. So we are almost there. So go ahead and set your berry to the side. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our stem. So I have this Parfait XL yarn. It's in the color Sage, and it is a size 7 yarn, just like the yarn we used for the berry and for the seeds. But we are not actually going to be using this yarn to make a stem in this video because I already pre-made a stem for us. And the reason I did not want to use this yarn in the video to show you how to make the stem is because you really need to see the details for this part. Whereas for the berry, I feel like it wasn't as important. It's more like just getting the different stitches. But to create this shape, I really want you to be able to see each of the stitches. So I went ahead and made the stem beforehand, and what we're going to be using instead, Easy Peasy yarn by the Woobles. It's honestly just one of the best yarns to use for these little tutorials. I just really like it because I feel like you can really see the stitches a lot better than with these chenille yarns. So we're going to be using this to make our stem together, but we're going to be sewing this stem onto the top of our berry. I'm gonna go ahead and set that guide to the side, and I'm gonna grab a different hook size because this 9mm is gonna be way too big for this. I actually like to use a 5mm with this yarn. So grab your size 7 jumbo yarn and go ahead and follow along. Use the same hook size that you used for your berry and everything. I'm just going to be making it in this yarn instead. So it's actually going to be a lot smaller because we're using a thinner yarn and we're gonna be using a thinner hook too. So our stem is probably gonna be like that big if I had to guess. All right, so I'm gonna pretend like I am using the jumbo sized yarn that's hard to do a magic loop in, and I'm going to do the chain 2 method again for our beginning, just so it's easy for you guys to follow along if you guys do choose to do the chain 2 method. But I mean, you can do a magic loop, I just find it kind of hard to close. But I'll go ahead and do the chain 2 method with you one last time so we can make this stem. You just, like we did before, you make a P, and then you're gonna flip it over on top, and you're gonna pull on this middle piece, and then you're gonna grab the other 2 ends with your other hand and just pull it shut. And now you have this little knot, this little slip knot, and you just put your hook inside and pull it until it's taut against your hook, and now it's on. So for chain 2, you chain 2, 1 and 2, and then for round 1, we're going to be doing 5 single crochet into this first chain. So let's go ahead and do it. I made mine a little bit tight. right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there we go. 5 single crochet. For round 2, we're going to be going into back loops only, and we're going to be doing 5 single crochet all the way around. So back loop versus front loop. So the loop that is closest to you when you're going around, which is this one, is the front loop. The loop that is furthest away from you is the back loop. So we're just going to be going into the back loop. So 1. Now it's time for a stitch marker. And again, we're going into back loops this entire round. 2, 3, and make sure you turn your work the right side out and continue to go around. 4 and 5. There we go. Now round 2 is done. This is what it kind of looks like. So for round 3, it's pretty easy. We're just going to single crochet all the way around. I actually want to get rid of this little yarn from our beginning, because I just don't want it to be in your way for seeing the stitches. So, but we're going to be doing 5 single crochet all the way around for round 3. So let's go ahead and do it. So 1, 2, and put your stitch marker back in. Where is it? There we go. 3, 4, and 5. So now this is the very tip of our stem. This is the end of round 3. This is kind of like what it's looking like at this point. So for round 4, we're going to be going into front loops only and doing 5 increases all the way around. So we should have 10 stitches around after we're done with this round. So front loops only. So last time we went into back loops only. So for front loops, we're going to be going into this. So this is the stitch. So for front loops, we're going to be going into this front loop right here. But for back loops, we would go into this back loop. But yeah, we're going to be going into this one right here. So we're doing increases. So increase. Now I'm going to put my stitch marker back in so I don't lose my spot. And increase all the way around. So that's 2 increases. That's 3 increases. 4 increases. Now 5. Oops. 5 increases. So this is what your stem should kind of be looking like. It'll be a lot more big if you use jumbo yarn, but this is what your stem would be looking like after round 4. So in round 5, we're going to be doing chain stitches, and then we're going to be crocheting back down the chain in order to create a base for our stem like leaves shape. So for round 5, we are going to chain 8 and then starting in the second stitch from hook down the chain, we're going to do 1 slip stitch, 1 single crochet, 2 half double crochet, 3 double crochet, and then we're going to skip a stitch on this piece of our stem, and we're going to do 1 slip stitch in the next stitch. And we're going to do that 5 times. Now that sounds like a lot, and I know it probably looks like a lot at the top of the screen too, but I'm going to go through it with you and we'll just do it together. So the first step is to chain 8. So 1. Go ahead and take out your stitch marker. You're honestly not going to need it anymore. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we have chained 8. So the next part says, starting in the second stitch from the hook down the chain, we're going to do 1 slip stitch. So we're not going to go into this stitch right here. We're going to go into this next one. And we're going to go into this little back side right here. So not this one, but this one right here. And we're going to do a slip stitch. So that's 1 slip stitch. Next we'll do 1 single crochet. So do a single crochet right into this next one. 1 single crochet. And then for the next 2 stitches, we're going to do a half double crochet. So if you don't know what a half double crochet is, I'm going to explain it to you here right now, but it might behoove you to watch another video in case I don't explain it the right way for you. But I would totally recommend the Woobles. They actually taught me how to crochet and I learned all of my stitches from them. So I really like the way she explains it. So if I don't do it right for you, that's totally okay. Just go ahead and learn how to half double crochet and how to double crochet, and then come back to this video and we can do it together. But I will still explain it just for this leaf. I'm gonna go really slow and explain half double crochet and double crochet. But for the next few leaves, I'm just gonna do it straight down without explaining the stitches in case we have people here watching that aren't beginners. But I'm trying to make this as beginner friendly as I possibly can. So for a half double crochet, what you're gonna do is you're going to yarn over to begin. It's very similar to a single crochet. This is really the only difference, is that you do this little yarn over right here. And then with this yarn over on your hook, you're going to go into the next chain. You're going to push it through. So you'll see that there's 3 loops on your hook. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through. And now you're going to have these 3 loops right here, and then you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops, and that was a half double crochet. So we'll do it again together. So you're going to yarn over like this, and then you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch like this, and then you're going to yarn over and you're gonna pull the yarn through the stitch and drop a loop. Then you should have 3 loops on your hook. And you're gonna yarn over again and pull the yarn through all 3 loops. And that's a half double crochet. So now we're going to do, so now we have 3 chain stitches left. And then those last 3, we're going to be doing double crochets. So how do you do a double crochet? It really only has one more step than a half double crochet. So let's go ahead and do it together. So what you do is you yarn over like before, and then you're going to insert the hook into the next stitch. So this one right here. And we're gonna yarn over again and pull through that first one, and there we go. We have 3 loops on our hook. Now you're only going to yarn over and then pull through 2 loops instead of all 3. And now you have 2 loops on your hook. Now yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. And there you go. That's a double crochet. So now we're gonna do 2 more double crochets. So I'll go slowly with you again through these last 2, and then like I said, for the next leaves, I'm not gonna go this slow. I'm just gonna go like normal. Yarn over, then insert our hook into the next stitch and yarn over again and pull up a loop and pull it through. So now we have 3 stitches on our, or 3 loops on our hook. Then we yarn over again, pull through 2 of our loops, then yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops. Now let's do 1 more double crochet together. We're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, then we're gonna yarn over again and pull, bring up a loop like that. So you should have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops. So there we go. Now we have a leaf. Now that we've made this 1 leaf, we're going to be going into not the next stitch. This is the very next stitch on our stem. We're going to be going into this stitch right after that one. So skip a stitch, skip this one, and then go into the one that's next, like that. And then you're going to yarn over and we're gonna just do a slip stitch. And that's how the leaf gets connected. You can see a little bit of gapping right here. That's okay, don't worry about that. We're gonna take care of that later. So now I'm gonna continue on and we're gonna do the next few leaves together, but I'm just gonna go at my regular speed and just talk you through it without describing all the stitches. All right, so first what you do is you chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we've chained 8. And in the second stitch from hook, you're going to do a slip stitch to start it out. Ooh. I always get kind of like stuck at this part, so I kind of grab, ooh. We're gonna do a slip stitch. I always have trouble getting this first one through. And then we're going to do a single crochet. And then we're gonna do 2 half double crochet. Now we're gonna do 3 double crochet, just continuing down our chain. And there we go, we have another leaf. Now skip this stitch and do a slip stitch into the next stitch. And now we're going to chain 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, starting in the second stitch from hook, we're going to do 1 slip stitch. So a slip stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next one. And then 2 half double crochet, just continuing down our chain. 1 and 2 half double crochet, and then 3 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So, whoops. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. Now we're going to skip a stitch and slip stitch into the next stitch. So like that. So as you can see, we're beginning to have little leaves. It's looking great. So now we're gonna chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then starting in the second stitch from hook, we're gonna do our slip stitch again, like that. And then we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're gonna do a half double crochet. And then we're gonna do a second half double crochet. And then in the next 3 stitches, we're gonna be doing 1 double crochet in each of them. So 1 double crochet, then second double crochet, and in the next stitch, a 3rd double crochet. Yeah. And then we're going to skip this stitch and slip stitch into the next one. There we go. And then chain 8. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. So now that we have chained 8, we're going to do a slip stitch in this first stitch right here. And then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to do 2 half double crochets, continuing down our chain. 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochet. Then we're going to do 3 double crochet down the chain. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. And then skip this stitch right here and do a slip stitch in this next one. Slip stitch. So now you will have your little leaves, but we're not done yet. We have one more round to go. But don't worry, this next round is not as complicated. So you'll notice these little leaves are curling a lot. They don't curl as much after this next round, so don't worry too much about that. So for round 6, we don't have super exact numbers. We're basically going to be single crocheting all the way around each of these, but we're gonna be doing a slip stitch in each of these corners between each of our leaves. Okay, so when you're working up this side, this is like the back side of our chain. You can kind of see, you can see the stitches really well on this side, but on the back side of the chain, you might notice, especially with chenille yarn, that it's gonna be hard to get exactly the same amount of stitches on each one of these. So don't worry if you have a little bit more or a little bit less. I approximate that it's about 75 stitches all the way around. But if you have a little bit more or a little bit less, don't sweat it, it's okay. If you don't have the exact same number as me, it's totally fine. So now that I explained that, let's go ahead and do it together. What I'm gonna do, I can pretty clearly see these stitches, so I can see, you know, to go underneath this. This is like the back side of the chain from when we did our chain in round 5. But if you can't see, don't worry about it again. So I'm just gonna not even count. I'm just gonna continue up this little leaf, and I wouldn't even worry about counting. And I'm not using a stitch marker because it'll be pretty easy to tell when you get all the way around. But if you would like to use a stitch marker, I would recommend putting it in like right here. But yeah, just working up the back side of this chain. And then when you get to this tippity top right here of the leaf, if you're having trouble having your work kind of like turn, you can do 2, like an increase right at this tip, and it'll help your work turn a little bit. Just if that, there we go. If that helps you, like if you Sometimes I'll do that if I notice I want my work to turn a little bit better. But just continuing on, just single crocheting all the way around the leaf. It's easier when you get to this side of each of the leaves because it's just more, like the stitches are more defined. And then when you're in between each of these leaves, you're gonna do a slip stitch, like that. And then go ahead and continue on going up this leaf now. Yeah, we're just continuing our way up. Trying to get underneath. There we go. Let's see, this is what I'm talking about. It's kind of like, it feels like it needs to turn a little bit, right? Go ahead, just do a little increase at this tip, and then that'll help turn your work a little bit. Also, don't sweat it if you don't have to do an increase at the tip. Now we're in between leaves again. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a slip stitch right here in between the leaves, and then continue on to the next leaf, doing our single crochets around. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get your hook into the slip stitches because they're just a little bit tighter than a single crochet. At least mine are. Just take your time. We're just single crocheting all the way around. Okay. And now since we're in between two leaves, go ahead and do a slip stitch right here, slip stitch, and continue on to leaf number 4. Just single crocheting all the way around it. All right, now we're in between the two leaves. So we're gonna go ahead and do a slip stitch right here, and then continue on to our final leaf. And I mean, you'll be able to tell it's your, you'll be able to tell pretty easily it's the final leaf because look how skinny it is in comparison to the others. That's how you know that it's your final one. That's why I don't really use a stitch marker, because you can really see it pretty well. But if you choose to use a stitch marker, I mean, it never hurts. It's always good to use a stitch marker. Okay, and then for our final stitch, go ahead and do one last slip stitch in between these two leaves. One last slip stitch, and that's really it. This stem is done now. And you're gonna want an extra long tail, but I'm not actually attaching this one, so I'm gonna do a short tail and pull it through so that you guys can fully experience it. but you would leave a very long tail. So these are the two different sizes, or two different stems. This is the one we made together. As you can see, it's a lot smaller, but it's a lot easier to see the stitch definition. So I wanted to use this yarn with you guys. I hope that this helps by using this yarn. But yeah, so the tail that you're going to leave, let's see how long the tail I left was. So I'm gonna wrap it around my stem so you can get a general idea. So this yarn tail wraps around about 1.5 times. So as we sew, I will let you know if that is enough yarn, and then we'll see. Because we're going to be using this yarn tail to sew our stem onto our strawberry. So we will need a lot, but if you don't have enough, that's totally okay. Just grab from your skein and use a little bit extra. All right, so I'm going to toss this guy to the side, and let's go ahead and sew our stem onto our strawberry. This is the final step, so it's very exciting. So we are going to have to change angles because this strawberry is too big for this. So I went ahead and changed angles just to like move you guys back a little bit. I think that this will be a lot better for you guys to be able to see me sewing on the stem, because I would have been just so close to you guys. So I think this will work. What I recommend using is either like a chopstick, or this is a knitting needle. This is a, let's see, it's 4mm knitting needle. I like to use this to make sure that I stay centered. But we just want to put it into, we're going to be poking it into where we closed our strawberry. Don't worry about stuffing the stem either. Honestly, it doesn't even need it. But I like to stab this into the magic loop of our stem. And then I like to poke it right into where we closed our strawberry. Just right straight. This way I know that my stem is perfectly centered. So remember how I mentioned to you guys that there's a little bit of like gapping right here? I'll show you guys. See my little finger? Yeah, so there's a little bit of a gap from where we skipped a stitch. So it's right next to the stem, and it's next to each of these leaves. So what we're gonna do, oh my gosh, you can see me a little bit. Hi guys. So what we're gonna do, so the first step that I like to do is I like to close these little gaps by just sewing down our strawberry at the same time. So here's our little gap that we want to sew closed, right? This piece is right here. I like to just go in right here. And I'm going into the strawberry on the other side. And then oh my gosh. All right, and then I like to come up near where this little gap is. Again, I did go through the strawberry on the other side. There we go. So now it's like stuck down right there, and just sew closed that little gap and continue around just like, and I continue this all the way around. So I sew close the first gap. So sew that gap closed. Now going into the next one. Here we go. Boop, like that. And then on the other side of this little gap right here, and this yarn tail is so long that I have to keep moving it around. or else it's just kind of like catching on things. So just be wary of that. Yeah, I just go around sewing this little gap. Just because I don't want there to be a little gap, that's why I do it. And then, oh yeah, so it looks like I already did this last one. After I get all of these little gaps sewn down, I like to sew down right here in between each of our leaves, so it's nice and tight. So there we go. Close that last gap, and now I'm just sewing down these little corners right here. And I'm gonna do that around for each and every corner. You can really sew on the strawberry stem however you like. This is just what I've been making a few strawberries, and I feel like this is just the method that I came up with, really. Okay. And now that it's really like, it's beginning to stick, I can just pull this knitting needle out. I don't need it anymore because this is already, like, it's already on pretty tight. I'm just continuing around though. Really want to make sure that this is on pretty well. And then if you feel like you need a little more, like you need it a little more sturdy on here, or if you want to, you can even sew these leaves going down. I like the leaves kind of like popping up. I think it looks strawberry-like because, you know, leaves can move around. So I kind of like the movement that it has. But if you want to, you can totally just sew down the leaves to the strawberry. It's up to your discretion. Whatever you like best. So now, since this is our last corner that we're sewing down, I'm actually pretty satisfied with how sturdily this is on here. So now what I want to do is I want to find this yarn tail that we have from closing our berry part, our pink part, or red part if you have a red berry. Ours is pink. And I'm going to have my darning needle come up through the very same gap as it. I'm gonna pull it taut. Okay, now tie these in a knot together and then cut off the excess. And then we're just gonna push our yarn tails inside. Hide our little yarn tails. Oops. And yeah, this yarn sheds a lot, so expect that. And there we go. There we go. We have a finished strawberry. Isn't it so cute? All right, so we have our little strawberry pillow, guys. What do you think? She's so cute, huh? I really do love this pattern, and honestly, I think it's a really good one. I've been seeing a lot of your guys' strawberries on Instagram, and it just makes me so happy to see all of them. I hope that this tutorial really helps with the stem, because I had been getting a few questions about how to do the stem, so I really tried to explain it as best as I could. But like I said, if you guys prefer like a more in-depth instruction on like the different stitches and stuff, I highly recommend the Woobles, because that's where I learned all of my stitches from, and I just think the way that she explains it is so good. I tried my best. I really did try to explain them, but like I feel like I get so confused. I actually pulled up notes for myself when I was describing the stitches so I could remember to say like yarn over, because I will just like, I do it almost without thinking now, and that's not good for explaining. If you do decide to post your strawberry pillow on like Instagram or social media in general, please tag me. I would love to see your strawberry. I'm sure that it is adorable, and I just love to share your guys's like creations that you guys make for my patterns. It's just, it makes me so happy. So please share. If you don't, that's totally okay. If you just like make it and just keep it on your bed or something, I think that that's so super sweet. You don't have to tag me. Just if you do, I'd love to see it. I really hope that you enjoyed this video tutorial, and I hope that I did a good job. I promise I tried really hard, and I hope that you guys, I hope that it was very clear and instructive. We are running out of light though, so I do need to say goodbye, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching my videos and commenting, and like, honestly, I appreciate everything. I hope that you guys really enjoy making your own strawberries. And yeah, happy crocheting, and love y'all. Peace and bye.